Most people spend their entire lives reacting. Reacting to messages, reacting to deadlines, reacting to expectations that were never theirs to begin with. But imagine waking up one morning and realizing that half your life has passed while you've been busy responding to everything except your own purpose. Now imagine that just 7 habits, 7 simple, timeless principles, can help you rewrite that story completely. This is not a book summary. This is a roadmap, a journey from confusion to clarity, from distraction to direction, from living passively to living intentionally. These 7 habits have changed millions of lives, and if you allow them, they will change yours too. But before understanding these habits, you must understand the problem. Most people today feel stuck not because they lack talent, but because they lack alignment. They run faster but move nowhere. They work harder but achieve little that truly matters. They appear busy yet feel empty. The truth is simple. Effectiveness is not about speed. It's about direction. And direction comes from within. Covey believed that if you want to change your life, you must first change your operating system, not your tools, not your time management techniques, your internal programming, your values, your beliefs, your habits, because habits are powerful. They shape identity. They carve your destiny quietly, subtly, repeatedly. And if you truly want to become effective, you don't need more motivation. You need new habits, ones rooted in principles that never expire, ones that empower you, not pressure you, ones that help you build a life of purpose, influence, and meaning. So take a breath. You don't need a new planner. You don't need a perfect morning routine. What you need is a transformation, one that begins with a single decision to take responsibility for your life. And that decision begins with habit 1. Habit 1. Be proactive. Most people live as if life is happening to them. A notification appears, and they react. A mood hits, and they follow it. Someone says something hurtful, and their entire day collapses. But proactive people live differently. They understand one simple truth. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can always control your response. Imagine 2 students receiving the same criticism from a professor. One collapses emotionally, blames the system, and gives up. The other reflects, adapts, and grows. Same event. Different response. Different destiny. Being proactive means shifting your language from I can't to I choose, from I have to I prefer, from this is how I am to this is who I'm becoming. It means choosing responsibility over excuses, action over victimhood, growth over stagnation. But proactivity alone is not enough. Taking responsibility is powerful, but without direction, it leads nowhere. And that brings us to the second habit. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. If you don't decide where you're going, life will decide for you. Most people drift. They follow trends, imitate others, chase whatever looks shiny, and end up living someone else's dream. But effective people begin with a clear vision. They define what kind of life they want, what values they want to live by, what legacy they want to leave. Imagine standing at your own funeral, not in a morbid way, but reflectively. What would you want people to say about you? What kind of human being do you want to be remembered as? Wise, compassionate, driven, loving, a leader, a creator? When you begin with the end in mind, you stop living by pressure and start living by purpose. One man discovered this when he wrote his personal mission statement. He realized that much of his stress didn't come from doing too much, but from doing too much of the wrong things. Once he clarified what mattered, decisions became simple. The noise faded. The path appeared. Clarity is a superpower. And once you have clarity, the next habit turns that clarity into action. Habit 3. Put first things first. Now that you know where you're headed, you must prioritize what truly matters. The world will constantly tempt you with distractions dressed as opportunities. If you do not protect your priorities, someone else will assign their priorities to you. Most people live in the urgent zone, always rushing, always fixing, always firefighting. But highly effective people spend most of their time in the important zone, planning, learning, improving, exercising, building relationships, creating future results. Think of your life as a jar. If you fill it with sand, distractions, small tasks, pointless scrolling, you won't have space for the big stones. Health, family, purpose, deep work, meaningful goals. But if you put the big stones in first, everything else fits around them. Weekly planning becomes your anchor. You choose your key roles: student, creator, professional, partner, and set 1 or 2 high-impact goals for each. Not 10, not 20. Just the ones that actually matter. This is the essence of self-leadership. But life is not lived alone. True effectiveness blossoms when you step into the realm of relationships. And that begins with habit 4. Habit 4. Think win-win. We live in a world conditioned by competition. Win-lose. Lose-win. Someone must suffer for someone to succeed. But that belief limits growth. Effective people understand that true success is mutual. Win-win means creating victories that benefit everyone involved. Consider 2 coworkers fighting over resources. Instead of battling for control, they explore shared goals. They discover that collaboration, not competition, creates far better outcomes. This is not naive positivity. It's strategic empathy. Win-win requires 2 things: courage and consideration. Courage to stand for your needs. Consideration to honor others' needs. When you balance both, trust grows. Relationships strengthen. Influence multiplies. But win-win cannot happen if people don't understand each other. And that leads to habit 5. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most people don't listen. They wait. They wait for the pause so they can reply. They listen to respond, not to understand. But effective communication begins with true empathy, listening so deeply that the other person feels seen, heard, and valued. A manager once struggled with her team. Deadlines slipped. Morale dropped. In frustration, she held a meeting, but instead of lecturing, she listened. Only then did she discover the real issue: unclear expectations and unsustainable pressure. She didn't need new rules. She needed new understanding. And once she listened, the solutions revealed themselves. Empathic listening softens conflict. It builds bridges. It transforms conversations. When people feel understood, they lower their defenses and open their minds. Only then can you express your ideas effectively. And when people understand each other, something extraordinary becomes possible. Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy is not teamwork. It is the highest form of teamwork. It's the art of combining strengths so effectively that the final result becomes greater than anything the individuals could create alone. It is creativity multiplied. Picture musicians in an orchestra. Individually, their instruments sound beautiful. Together, they create magic. That's synergy. But synergy requires humility. It requires valuing differences instead of resisting them. It requires openness to new ideas and a willingness to let go of the need to be right. When people with different backgrounds, skills, and perspectives collaborate without ego, they unlock solutions no single person could imagine. Innovation thrives. Relationships deepen. Progress accelerates. Yet even synergy cannot sustain itself without the 7th habit, one that fuels all the others. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Imagine a woodcutter sawing a tree with a dull blade. He works harder, pushes stronger, sweats more, but the blade is blunt. Someone suggests sharpening it, but he refuses. I don't have time. This is how many people live. Exhausted. Overwhelmed. Depleted. They never stop to sharpen their own mind, body, heart, or spirit. Sharpening the saw means renewal. Reading. Learning. Exercising. Resting. Reflecting. Connecting with nature. Spending time with loved ones. Practicing gratitude. Nurturing your emotional health. Strengthening your character. Renewal is not laziness. Renewal is preparation. A renewed person thinks clearly, works efficiently, loves deeply, and grows continuously. Now the 7 habits are complete. But transformation isn't about learning all 7. It's about living them. It's about integrating them into your identity. So let's imagine what that transformation looks like in real life. Picture someone who feels lost at 25. Distracted. Overwhelmed. Directionless. They begin with one small act of proactivity, choosing to complete a meaningful task every morning. Slowly, they shift their mindset from passive to purposeful. Then they write a personal vision. For the first time, they know what they want from life. Next, they prioritize their time, protecting deep work, learning consistently, nurturing relationships. They begin practicing win-win, seeking mutual benefit in every interaction. They listen deeply, and suddenly their relationships transform. They collaborate without ego, creating ideas that surprise even themselves. And every week, they renew their mind and body, growing sharper, calmer, more focused. 2 years later, they look back and barely recognize their old life, not because circumstances changed, but because they changed. Their habits changed. Their identity changed. This transformation is available to you too. You don't need perfection. You need intention. You don't need motivation. You need direction. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You need consistent practice. Start small. Choose one habit. Master it slowly. Let it shape who you become. Then add the next, and the next. Let the habits stack. Let them become your character. Because the truth is simple. Your habits are writing your destiny. And the 7 habits in this book are not just tools, they are compasses. They don't just help you manage your life. They help you design it. So today, write one sentence describing the person you want to become. One sentence. Hold it. Let it guide your next action. Live 1 hour each day as that future version of yourself. That hour will change your week. That week will change your month. That month will change your life. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need to begin. Your life is shaped by choices. Choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose habits that make you effective. Not someday, but today. Your future self is waiting.